Well, hello there. I heard we had a bunch of new listeners to the podcast. Let me be the first to tell you in the same way Bubba told me when I got this intro gig. Welcome to the show. I hope you guys and gals are ready for a whole lot of Bubba because he's all you're getting today. There used to be plenty of him to go around. Remember his heavier days? You see, back in the days of yore, little Bubba was just a biscuit shy of 260 till someone from Fairbank called him a fat kid and he got his feelings hurt. What a crybaby.
But 260 isn't really that fat.
Shh, Johnny, I'm trying to do a show here.
But I'm 280.
Moving on. Anyways, well, he's got a few things to get off his chest, so get ready for some excitement, some passion, some emotion. Uh-oh. I hope he doesn't start crying again. Here's your host, Bubba Seaman.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back. This is going to be a solo episode this week. Got a lot of things that I just want to share, hopefully encourage you, hopefully get you thinking a little bit, and then we'll have another good guest we just recorded last night. He's going to be a 3-week episode, young kid, college-age kid. So that's right, we're going to try and get some young people on the podcast, get their perspective on things. And let me tell you, this kid is not just another brick in the wall, as Pink Floyd would say. This kid's a thinker. All right, Andy's an athlete, so it's going to be a good episode. So start telling people. Apparently, you guys have already been telling people because I see the numbers are growing. We're starting to get a little more popular with the high school audience and things, and that's good to see. So I just wanted to say thank you, first of all, to all the new listeners that are making these numbers go up, especially the young people. So when we start talking, high schoolers are starting to listen to this stuff. That encourages me. You got Dallas Tissue as one of our winners of our last giveaway for a chosen calendar and mug. I mean, when I was that age, I wouldn't care anything about the Chosen or some sort of Bible TV show, but yeah, he ended up winning. And speaking of the Chosen, season 4 premiere is February 3rd. That's in theaters. You can go see it. It's 3 episodes, so it's going to be a nice long sit, but they say season 4 it's starting to get intense, so it's going to be really good. But if you haven't seen it, go back, check out season 1, then move on through all of them. And Dallas even said he might want to be a future guest, so we got that in the works too. So we might even have a high schooler on the podcast at some point. That could get a little dicey. We'll see. And then we also had another first. We had our first T-shirt sale. Normally the T-shirts I just give to the guests for coming on the show and help advertise and things. They're pretty sweet shirts. I'll probably insert a picture right here so you can see. But that used to be the only way you could get one. Well, now it's not the case. My mom sent up a whole box of shirts. My wife and Bridget and them, they're going to be over there putting the logos, pressing on them on the shirts. We got all different colors. We got pink, gray, blue. We got all the different sizes. So for some of you medium kids out there or women, yeah, we got some mediums now. So hit me up, hit up our Facebook page, hit up our Instagram, hit up our kids. If you want a shirt to buy, you can buy one now and help me represent this thing, okay? I mean, that just goes to show. I mean, this is not just a one-man operation. It takes a lot of help. My wife helps a lot. You know, that statement's true. Behind every great man, there's an even greater woman, for sure. But the thing that caught my eye was, especially coming off of Chad Frost's episode, he's a UPS delivery driver. My mom went to mail this box of shirts at the UPS store. And when they typed in Fairbank, Iowa, they said there's going to be a $25 surcharge because that is a remote location. And I'm just like, that's not a remote location. We're a city. What the heck? And they said, no, we just don't have enough delivery there to not charge this extra fee. This is how we make money. And I told Chad, I was like, what is up with that? We can't be doing that. This is a city. There's a UPS guy here all day long. So we gotta fix that, UPS. You can do better. All right. So yeah, I love to see the excitement. I love to see the enthusiasm. I love to see young people starting to consume some content, you know, that might be good for them, that might be encouraging, might get them to think a little bit. That's a good thing. They don't just have to consume, and scroll, and they sure get a good workout with those thumbs. But sometimes you can stop on something good that'll build you up instead of tear you down. That's always a good thing. You're never too young to start asking what is up. What is up with this or that, or what's going on with what's the meaning of life? What's our purpose? Things like that. And you guys know, if you want answers, you know where I go. I go to the Bible. Now, this is probably the verse I should have put on the T-shirt on the back of it, but I didn't. It just, the other one fit really well about looking up and focusing our attention to heaven. But this one is my favorite. Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Lean not on your own understanding, but in all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make your path straight. He will direct your paths. And there's going to come times, and there's been a lot of them the last few years, where you start just thinking, man, what? I don't get this. I don't get it. God says, hey, get in the Word. I'll show you the way. I'll give you truth. And it's an unshakable truth no matter what comes our way. So, all right. And as this audience grows, yeah, we're trying to reach more demographics. It doesn't just stop with young people. The females, the ladies, yes. We also have a special guest coming up for you. I know everyone's probably been waiting. Hey, when's the first female guest going to come on? When's Bubba going to have a woman on the show? Is this just for guys? And now he's going to kids? Uh, no, we got a special lady lined up, and she's pretty well known around the Cedar Valley, Northeast Iowa. She's so busy with what she does and her side hustle and all that stuff that I have to actually go for a pre-meeting in Waterloo. I'll give you that much of a hint. Just to set this thing up, because I'm going to have to record there, so I have to kind of get a scope of the place, and she had to fit me in her schedule, but she absolutely wants to do the podcast. So, and when I say demographic, don't think DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion. No, this is kind of a different thing here. We're trying to reach all kinds of new listeners for reasons other than race, gender, sexual orientation, things like that, or that it might make us look better. No, that's not what we're about. The reason we're trying to reach new demographics and reach young people and reach women and grow our audience is because we think you all have value, you're all special, but it's only because you're created in the image of God. Genesis 1:27. Okay? It has nothing to do with any of that other stuff that DEI is about. Everybody's special. I mean, in the Bible, you go back far enough, we're all related. So you can get rid of that DEI stuff. So, and that's truth. All right. Period. Okay. I want to do this solo episode because I'm always paying attention to things that are going on. I'm always thinking. As a parent, you have to be. You have to know what's coming at your kids. You have to know what's going on in the world. I'm not a super political guy, but you do have to kind of pay attention to things. Uh, just culture wise, you have to know. If you're not, if you're just going to put your head in the sand and think everything's great and you don't have to, guide your kids in the world that they are growing up in, there's probably going to be a price to pay for that. Unless you've got a super exceptional kid, you have to build a foundation for them to stand on. So as I see things, I'm just like, man, I want to share these things, but I can't wait for guest after guest after guest to start picking some of these topics. I have to just do a solo episode every once in a while, and maybe this is stuff you haven't even heard of, okay? And maybe some of this stuff is just encouraging. Uh, Maybe it's wisdom. I don't know. You take it for what it's worth. But I also need to practice this art of video podcasting. Hopefully you guys think this looks a lot better than the last one I did. I'm trying. We'll see. As my savings fund for the podcast goes up, I will eventually return all of this borrowed equipment that I'm using. I'll buy my own, and maybe we'll end up doing more video if I get a more high power laptop that can do video editing. You never know. We'll see. It's up. It's up. If the Lord's going to make this thing take off, then that's on Him. I'm going to do the best I can. But so, first thing I want to say is we have to make time to laugh. Everybody's heard laughter is such a good medicine, right? Make time to laugh, whether it's something you watch on TV, whether it's something you do as a family. You can't be so serious all the time, or so down all the time, or so stressed or overworked. You have to make time to laugh, enjoy life. Okay? My family, we love to watch old reruns of King of Queens. It's just a great show, hilarious. Duck Dynasty. You go back and watch the first 3 seasons of Duck Dynasty, you will laugh your head off, okay? And those guys are all into podcasting now. The one's a Bible study, but it's kind of funny. And then there's another one that some of those guys do. It's not a Bible study, but it's called the Duck Call Room. Okay. And they had a recent episode on there. They had a comedian come on, and I'm going to play a clip for you guys that just had me laughing while I'm at work listening to this stuff. And it's good for you to laugh like this. You know, it's a city guy talking about buying his first gun and just how clueless some people are to, you know, what us in the Midwest, you know, most of us understand guns and how to use them, how to handle them, the do's and don'ts, the rights and wrongs, and things like that. But on this episode, this comedian John Christ, he had me laughing. So I'm going to share that with you and see what you think.
Yeah.
I shot a gun one time and I had too much moisturizer on my hands and it slipped out.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's not funny. That's dangerous.
Well,
It
no.
was. That's what I'm saying.
Is that a true story?
Yeah,
Wow.
I went in to buy a gun I just Googled, somebody was like, you got to get a gun because I have a house. And I was like, okay. But my family's like,
We will protect this land.
my family's like,
That's his maker.
my family, no, not even a townhome.
Okay.
I don't even have any
All right,
land.
Kevin McAllister, what
It's
you
a
do?
townhouse. It's a townhouse.
So I'm getting roasted by a guy with a trailer.
I
too.
know. Yeah. This is
It's
fantastic.
a triple wide.
I'm getting made
No.
fun of.
Look, first thing you got to do here, boys, is
love
buy a
this.
gun. Okay.
So I moisturized. So then you
No,
Googled.
tell me. Yeah, no, I wouldn't. All right, so my family is Mennonite, so it's like they from the Amish, so like they're very like pacifist, like
Is that why you had that haircut that one time?
yeah, my bowl cut. Yeah, it was
I saw that.
going back to your roots, kind of like how you have a beard.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. What a life.
Same type thing.
Oh,
Yeah,
man. This
yeah.
guy is.
Jordan.
Sorry
Anyway,
about that. Go ahead.
They so I googled gun, like I know nothing. I googled gun store.
He's like Sorry Schultz.
yeah.
anyway, so you bought a gun.
So I went in,
You Googled
and
gun
I went in,
store.
and I was like, I thought maybe there was a lot of guns in there. I thought maybe they just like measured your hand, or they're like, here's we fit you, or here's your.
He tell you he don't know nothing
Custom
about it.
fit. There you
I
go.
thought we fit. They like measure your hand, and like here's yours.
Yeah.
And there was like a
I
lot
like
of, and they were like, "Well, try." I go, I'm not touching my fingers with all these guns. This is crazy.
Yeah. I get that. I can see
I
They
that.
don't
were like,
wipe 'em down.
They were like, "What kind of gun do you want? What are you looking for?" I was
The
like, I don't know.
biggest
I
one
go
they
one
got.
that's like, that's what I said.
Pump shotgun. Okay.
Yeah.
I'd have handed you. Yeah.
No, but you can get one of these that's
Yeah. Oh yeah, if you work the magazine and the
Yeah.
slide on a pistol on a hand.
and it has like the bullets are like this.
Mm-hmm.
What is that called?
A magazine?
Yeah, it's just where you put them in a magazine, but it could be a 9mm, 40, 45. I mean, the sky's the limit.
Yeah, I got it in my car.
Me too.
I haven't never shot it before. I called my brother-in-law, he's a cop, and I was like, hey, what if I like shot this off my like balcony?
That would be bad.
Yeah, that's
I
not
te-
a good look.
Well, I texted him, and he calls me immediately. He goes, do not do that.
Yeah.
I was like, oh,
Just hilarious. Just hilarious. Just good, clean fun. And everybody misses Uncle Si. Just good, clean fun. Make time to laugh, all right? Because you need it. Sometimes there's other crazy things that just kind of make you think, man, the world is hopeless. And that's not true. But sometimes the things we see, it just makes us think, oh, man, this is getting bad out there. So one of the craziest things I saw recently, I wish I could say it was the first of its kind, but it's not, was this new cartoon on Amazon Prime called The Has Been Hotel. It's not has been like Bubba's a has been. It's has been, HAZBIN. And they're honest. They say it's for mature audiences only, but you know, it's just like South Park. That's for mature audiences only. But are you telling me teenagers aren't watching this stuff? Younger kids aren't watching this stuff? Yeah. Yeah, they are. And this one lady on the Blaze, that's a media network. You can check it out, the Blaze, Lauren Chen, she did a review of it. And she basically said the show centers around the daughter of Lucifer, that's Satan, who opens a rehab hotel that offers a group of demons a chance at redemption. It's not even possible, which supposedly will help reduce hell's overpopulation. That's a good theme right there. If the daughter of Satan, and it's supposed to be like Eve, but they call her Lilith, if the daughter of them, Charlie, isn't successful in rehabilitating the demons, then they're killed by angels. So it shows angels coming down, killing these demons. And this is all cartoon stuff. So Lauren Chen, she watched the show. She said she essentially spent 2 hours watching animated furries discuss their sexual deviances. There's all kinds of like perverted sex stuff in here too. It's really weird. And so if you want to see it for yourself, I've got a clip from Amazon. You can go check it out. It's complete garbage. But I'm going to try and insert it right here for you guys to watch, just so you can see for yourself.
Once upon a time, there was a glowing city protected by golden gates, known as heaven. It was ruled by beings of pure light, angels that worshipped good and shielded all from evil. Lucifer was one of these angels. He was a dreamer with fantastical ideas for all of creation, but he was seen as a troublemaker by the elders of heaven, for they felt his way of thinking was dangerous to the order of their world. So he watched as the angels began to expand the universe in their ways. From the dust of earth, they created Adam and Lilith, equals as the first of mankind. But despite this, Adam demanded control, and Lilith refused to submit to his will. She fled the garden. Drawn in by her fierce independence, Lucifer found her, and the two rebellious dreamers fell deeply in love. Together, they wished to share the magic of free will with humanity, offering the fruit of knowledge to Adam's new bride, Eve, who gladly accepted. But this gift came with a curse, for with this single act of disobedience, evil finally found its way into earth. With it, a new realm of darkness and sin, and the order heaven had worked to maintain was shattered. As punishment for their reckless act, heaven cast Lucifer and his love into the dark pit he had created, never allowing him to see the good that came from humanity, only the cruel and the wicked. Ashamed, Lucifer lost his will to dream, but Lilith thrived, empowering demonkind with her voice and her songs, and as the numbers of hell grew, so did its power. Threatened by this, heaven made a truly heartless decision, that every year they would send down an army, an extermination, to ensure hell and its sinners could never rise against them. But Lilith's hope remained, and her dream was passed down to their precious daughter, the Princess of Hell. Don't worry, Mom. I'll make you proud.
Are you kidding me? Yeah. You see how they just totally twisted everything in Scripture. Okay, what they said that Satan shared the tree, or no, not the tree, the fruit of knowledge. Oh, no, what does the Bible say? It was they ate fruit from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. They didn't know evil until they disobeyed God and ate from that tree. But in this cartoon, no, it was just the fruit of knowledge. They're twisting Scripture. They're making Satan look like a good guy. All right, and that God and his angels are the bad guys. So you got to watch out for this stuff. Okay, it's terrible. And then something that me and my guests and recently have been discussing is the importance of getting your news and information, whether it's on the internet, things like that, getting it from multiple sources. Okay, we feel like too many people just watch certain news outlets or certain sites or certain people on their social media, and that's basically where they get all their information. And as I recently learned, the old saying that there's always two sides to a story, that's really not that accurate. It's more like, there's one side, then there's the other side, and then there's the stuff that, goes around town, and then the truth is somewhere in the middle of all of that stuff. There's a lot of truth in everything, but rarely is it like the whole truth. It's, oh my goodness, yeah, there's get more than one source for where you're getting your information. Okay, that's why I watch 1 hour of news a day. That is it. The show's called The Five on Fox News. It's a great show. There's one person that I usually agree with most of the time. They're a Christian conservative, but they also have a moderate or a progressive liberal Democrat. They have two of them. One of them's kind of more moderate, and then one of them's very progressive, very liberal. Okay. They also have a legal expert on there who happens to be Catholic. And then there's one Ivy League Republican. He's just, very pompous. He's funny, but he's very vain and pompous, and he's not really a Christian conservative, but he is a Republican. And then there's one, sometimes two libertarians. So you get like multiple points of view on everything that's going on, whether it's politics or culture or anything. You get to hear from different points of view, and that is a good thing always. Okay, helps us understand, helps us debate ideas, and maybe see the flaws in our own opinions, or help understand where people are coming from. Okay, and here's an example of why I say that's important, to get your news from more than one location. Okay, I saw a video clip of our vice president on The View, and I just cannot believe that what she said is actually true. That I don't believe it. I think it was a lie. So I'm going to show you this video. This was on the Matt Walsh show, and he was talking about it. And it was when Vice President Kamala Harris was on The View. So take a look.
What they are telling me in state after state is that they are concerned about the future of our country. Many of us often think about the future of our country in the context of our children. And so they talk about their concern that if their daughter is going to college, will she go to a state where she will have access to the health care she might need, including reproductive health?
I know, a politician who lied. Big deal. Like, that's the first time that's ever happened. But you see, the reason I get upset about that kind of stuff is because to me that seemed obviously not true. And if there's people who only, they really value the ladies on The View, or they only watch that network, you know what I mean? They have no idea that that's not true, that there's other more pressing issues out there. I mean, I don't know, maybe they close their eyes when they fill up their cars, or when they buy groceries, they don't understand that, the dollar just buys less and less right now. I struggle to believe that that's actually what the majority of parents have been telling her is their number one concern for the future, that when their kids go to college, that their girls, if they get knocked up, they might not be able to have an abortion. That's pretty much what she's saying. That's what they mean when they say reproductive health. What is up with that? Why would she say that? Is that true? Is that what the majority of parents are telling her? If that is true, then I'm speechless. And we can just end this episode right now, because I just wouldn't be able to utter another word due to my astonishment of the lack of awareness of my fellow citizens. But lucky for you, I don't believe that statement. So we'll keep going with this episode. Not to get weird or anything, and I will probably continue to speak out. And I will probably speak even better than Vice President Harris or President Biden. And I'm not trying to be too prideful about that. It's just kind of a fact. Man, check out President Biden's recent speech at the Wisconsin brewery. I mean, there was a point in there. It was completely inaudible. I have no idea what he was trying to say. It was kind of different. So we'll keep going. I would imagine that most people, when they bring up what's their biggest concern about the future or current right now, what is their biggest concern now? What's their biggest concern going forward? I would imagine people would say something about the economy or inflation, or like me and a recent guest were talking about the lack of like blue collar workers getting into the workforce because everyone feels they need a college degree. The border, energy, the big energy initiatives right now. It's always been good to push green energy and alternative energy sources and all that stuff at its own rate. Okay, and now we're saying no, everything's gonna shift away from fossil fuels. We're gonna go to all this electric and green energy and all this by this date, and it's just like that's never how it's worked. That rushes things too fast. I have an uncle who, just retired from the energy industry, and he's just like, no, it takes a blend of everything: fossil fuels, nuclear, solar, wind, electric, all that stuff. I mean, it's a mixture of it all, and we keep improving the technology of some of these other energy sources, but we can't just cut off fossil fuels. Okay, yeah, let's take care of the environment as best we can. I know we're headed in the right direction compared to a bunch of other countries, so but we're pushing some of this stuff a little too fast. But apparently people aren't worried about any of those things. I guess they think their 401ks are doing amazing. I guess they think prices are down at the pump and at the grocery store. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just completely lost on that one. Another thing that I saw, and I was asking, what is up with this? This cannot be true. Did this really happen? It was called a No Pants Light Rail Day in Arizona. Now, I've rode the light rail up in Minneapolis, from Bloomington up to St. Paul. You can ride it's an electric train. It started as a prank years ago, I guess, maybe somewhere around 2015, and it shut down for COVID, but now it's back, but it looks a lot different than it did. It does not look like a prank anymore. Some of the images I saw, it looks more like the gay pride parades, okay? Except now you're confined on one of these light rail trains, okay? And there's other people there, okay? Some of this stuff that I saw at these pride parades in the last few years, there's quite a bit of nudity. There's like black leather whips, dog masks. I'm not sure. I don't know where this stuff comes from, but I saw a lot of images and videos of people marching in these parades wearing that kind of stuff. And if people want to bring themselves and their children to that stuff, that's on them. But remember, we're talking about this pantsless light rail day where people wore nothing, just underwear and shirts on the light rail with other people who didn't want to be a part of that. So, and in some of those parades, I remember seeing, people chanting. I can't remember exactly what events these were, but obviously they were similar to these kinds of parades. They were chanting, "We're here, we're queer, and we're coming for your children." Now, if that's your thing, to be like that and to be in a pride parade and celebrate that, what do my kids have to do with you? Why are they a concern to you? I don't understand that. I guess I do understand that. There's a motive to make sure everyone, is exposed to this stuff and accepts this stuff, but that's what makes it wrong, okay? So that No Pants Light Rail Day kind of made me think about that, If an adult has this weird fetish, that has nothing to do with my kid. Why would you want my kid, to embrace your sexuality and your sexual desires? It's not right. So if you look up that pantsless light rail day or No Pants Light Rail Day, there's plenty of articles online about it. You'll see some pictures. And in one of the pictures I saw, there's like a mom and a young kid, and the little kid is staring. Obviously, he's at the height of like the crotch of this guy who's wearing these black leather underwear things with like zippers on them, and it's really weird. And you can tell that kid is like confused. Like he understands he's looking at something perverted. Like, how is this not wrong? He's probably thinking to himself, what is up with this? Okay, so just check that out. Do you know what happens to a kid or even a young teenager, when they're exposed to sexuality or sexual perversion, like at a young age, like we see going on? They are way more likely to be scarred and then act out and have trauma because of this stuff. You cannot expose kids to sexuality, especially not perversion, at a young age. Their minds aren't ready for it. It definitely messes things up in there. Okay? And I'm speaking from experience. I'm like most boys. I definitely, was exposed to pornography before I was even a teenager. Magazines, movies, whatever. We didn't have the internet back then, but yeah, that stuff was around. And contrary to our culture, that's not normal for young kids to see that kind of stuff, or for teenage boys to see. It's not good for anybody. I'm not a fan of pornography. I get it. I know it's a problem. So I'm not trying to say it's okay for adults, but when we're talking about kids, it's definitely not good. It does harm our kids. They cannot handle seeing that kind of stuff without having some sort of bad effect on them. Okay? And you might be thinking, well, how close is? I monitor my kids. There's blocks on their phones. We make sure they're not looking at magazines or videos or whatever, and that's good. Well, then how does it get in front of them? Maybe you don't have anything to worry about. And you say, yeah, I can keep them away from the parades. I can keep them off the No Pants Light Rail Day. But you have to understand, some of this explicit sexual content is also in public school libraries. And this isn't a theory. This isn't, some sort of made up thing. Okay, this is all documented proof. I've talked to some of our local representatives about this stuff in the state of Iowa. Okay, this is the last thing I wanted to talk about. I heard too many stories about inappropriate books being in public school libraries, so I started looking around. I started asking questions, started digging, and when I looked on the internet, I kept finding videos of parents going to school board meetings and reading pretty graphic, sexually explicit material. And sometimes it was even perverted. It wasn't just sexual, it was like perverted sexuality. And the school board would like shut them down and say that's inappropriate and stop them. And it's like that's the point the parents are trying to make. If it's not appropriate for a room full of adults at a school board meeting, why on earth is this a book in the library at school? What is up with that? I don't get it. So I brought this up to one of our elected officials at the Iowa Senate. She used to be a representative. Now she's in the Iowa Senate, Sandy Salmon. And she emailed me a list of books that are in question that they found in Iowa public school libraries. Okay. It's a pretty decent sized list. Okay. And just to be clear, these aren't book bans we're talking about. There's a process. If you find some inappropriate material in your school library, here's what you do. You see if it's on the list or whatever, you get it added to the list. And there's a whole process of going to, the principal, superintendent, school board, getting this stuff taken out of there. And that's how it's done. It's not a ban. You're taking it out of the library, okay? Florida, everyone wants to bash on Florida. They did remove some books from their school district, but it was curriculum books based on stuff that was pushing critical race theory. Okay, and that wasn't just done by the governor, or it wasn't even done by like all their elected officials. They set up a panel, okay, and it was all scholars, and there were minorities on this panel, and they all said, yes, this is not helpful in educating our kids. We can pull this book or that book or whatever. And that's as much digging as I could do. That's the truth of the matter, okay? I found a lot of stuff that said, no, they did not ban To Kill a Mockingbird or other classics of American literature. So I know there's a lot of people who said that that's happening. And if it's happening in different parts of the country, maybe, I don't know. But it wasn't part of what Florida did to remove books on critical race theory, textbooks and things out of their curriculum. That was not that, okay? And it's not a ban. If you want to print those books, you want to sell them on Amazon. Amazon will gladly sell, perverted books, apparently. Print the book, sell the book, put it in like city libraries, I guess. I don't know. But don't put it in libraries where kids are going to school. It makes no sense to me, okay? One of the things that I consume that's really encouraging is called the Relatable Podcast with Allie Beth Stuckey. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. On a recent episode, episode number 937, she talked about this, and I got to see the clip of it and everything. It was the Moms for Liberty co-founder, Tiffany Justice. She was on MSNBC with Joy Reid debating this exact issue and made this exact point. So I'm going to play this one clip for you.
So here is Tiffany from Moms for Liberty making her case to Joy Reid on MSNBC over the weekend.
I want to give you just
hold on a second. Well, no, Joy, but I want to be clear. No one's banning books. Write the book, print the book, publish the book, put the book in the public library, sell the book, right? We're talking about a public school library. Children don't have unfettered access to the internet at school. I did a FOIA records request, and I wanted to see what kinds of internet sites are banned in schools, if we're going to talk about banning, right? And the subject matter in the books that moms are concerned about are the same things that kids don't have access to on the internet. So it just feels very hypocritical, right? No, why is no one out there protesting for, free the internet in schools?
Yeah. And the conversation continued. Joy Reid tried to say, no, we who think this stuff's inappropriate, we are taking this stuff out of context. That was her next thing. She was using this award-winning book, All Boys Aren't Blue. She said, you're taking it out of context. But Tiffany calls her out and asks her to explain under what context is some of this stuff okay. She was obviously pretty aware of the book itself. Okay, so she said, in what context is it okay to have some of this stuff available to our kids, this graphic, perverted stuff? So watch the clip and see how she responds.
All Boys Aren't Blue. This is just an inclusive LGBTQ book. Well, here's what Tiffany has to say about that.
What is the expertise that you have and other Moms for Liberty advocates have to decide that a book, an award-winning book like All Boys Aren't Blue, isn't appropriate for students to read? What is your expertise?
What a tragic story of a young man who's anally raped by his adult family member. So you have incest, rape, pedophilia. In what context is a strap-on dildo acceptable for public school? That's my question to you. Tell me what the context around the strap-on dildo or the rape of a minor child by a teacher.
Hold on a second.
No, we're talking about public school.
One moment.
All right.
Yeah, Joy. Tell me. I would like all of you out there who are opposed to what Moms for Liberty is doing and who says, oh, they're just Nazi fascists. Tell me, in what context do you think that's acceptable for an elementary schooler, middle schooler, heck, even a high schooler at school to be reading, to have access to? Why do you think that's appropriate? Why do you want that kind of context or that kind of content in school?
Please, somebody tell me what is up. What am I missing? How is this stuff okay? Much less in school. How is it okay in school for kids? It used to be if anyone ever showed up or was around my kids and talked to any kids about this kind of stuff, they go to jail, okay? Because they're sick. They have a problem and they're a danger to society. It seems like that's not the way it is anymore. People are pushing for this stuff to be considered normal and for us to accept it and to be tolerant of it. And this just leads me to ask one question that my kids have probably heard me, ask them or mention just a million times in their childhood. Where does our morality come from? Where do we get our morals? Our sense of what is right and what is wrong? Where does it come from? If we answer anything other than God, our Creator, and His Word, then we're in trouble. Romans 2:15 tells us that God's laws, God's commandments, they've been written on our hearts. We all know right from wrong, okay? But if we allow ourselves, okay, if we allow society to determine what is right and wrong, good and bad, what's natural and what's unnatural, then we're creating a world where there's nothing wrong. That is a road where no one can ever tell anyone is doing anything wrong. You can't do it. Eventually, every single desire of any human being will have to be accepted and tolerated, accepted and celebrated, because who's to say it's not right? It's how they feel. If there's no set standard, okay, that standard can just always change. And you can never say something's not right. That's how they feel. And we couldn't ask them to change how they feel. We couldn't tell them that that's not right. We must have the problem then. If that's the road we're going down, it's going to be us who have the problem, who think that they have the problem, okay? We need to change our way of thinking, apparently. I don't know. And that's a dangerous world that it's so dangerous, but I do think we can stop it from becoming a reality if we just pay attention to some of this stuff and just ask, what is up with this? Why is this happening? Why is this being allowed to happen? Why is this moving forward and becoming normal behavior in our society? You have to ask that question. If we don't ask, then we're in trouble, okay? If you're confused by some of this stuff that we talked about today, or you're worried about the direction of our world and you don't see a way of getting things back on the right track, that's okay. All right, let me tell you, that's okay. We aren't in complete control of everything that's going on, and we can't fix it all by ourselves. It's not possible. We don't have all the right answers. We're flawed human beings, but I guarantee you I know who does have the answers. Okay? One of my favorite verses, Proverbs 3:5-6, right there. Lean not on your own understanding, but in all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will make your path straight. See how I brought it all the way back around to that? Yeah, getting pretty good. It's all right there for you. Just like in A Few Good Men with Jack Nicholson and Tom Cruise, you want answers? You want answers? And he says, I want the truth. Except here, if you've got scripture, God tells you, yeah, you can handle the truth. Do you want it? Do you want the truth? Or do you just want to do whatever you want to do? and believe whatever you want to believe. Give it a try. God's standards aren't bad. Okay? Where else are you going to look? Where else are you going to go? You're going to keep doing what the world tells you to do and what the world says is right and wrong? There's been a lot of people who were skeptics or atheists like C.S. Lewis and that the more they searched, the more they realized, man, yeah, God is where it's at. I've been lost this whole time trying to do life on my own. So I know I kind of sound like a wannabe preacher, and I am the backup guy at church, I guess. And I've got like 10 really good sermons that I did on just, biblical, cultural issues, and I saved them all so they can never be censored or deleted or erased or anything like that. And, some of you guys, I've sent you ones time to time. I've had some of you actually have come to church and listen to me. The whole Hogan family came to one last year, or two, I think. It was a 2-part sermon, and I left a cliffhanger in the middle, so they're like, oh man, we got to go back the next week. So I got all these good ones about some of this stuff, about, cultural issues and how we apply, biblical standards to it. So if you want to watch one or something like that, hit me up. Send me an email, whatisuppodcast@gmail.com, or text me, whatever, message the Facebook, message the Instagram. I'll send these sermons to you. It's hopefully you would find it encouraging. It's good stuff. It's truth. All right. So I want to thank you guys for listening. I hope this short video episode with all these cool video clips, I hope it really encouraged you. I hope it encourages you to stand up, at least start asking what is up, and stand up against some of this stuff if you see it, okay? Thank you so much for all your support. Wherever you're listening, give it a 5-star review, even if you think it's maybe a 4 or 3, just give it 5. It's okay. Not, like Tom Brady. Instead of let's go, let's grow. Let's grow this thing, okay? We're 97 Spotify followers. We're past 100 on Facebook, 100 on Instagram, 97. 3 more Spotify followers, and we're past 100. And then I think it's just going to take off from there, guys. I really do. So follow that Facebook if you haven't. Follow that Instagram. There'll be information on there about giveaways, t-shirts, things like that. Limited edition t-shirts. If you want one, hit us up. We'll make one for you. I don't know what we're charging, $10, $12, something like that. Okay? This is going to be a good thing. So thanks for listening. Thanks for your support. Lord willing, I'll talk to you on the next one.